Carroll. I wanted to talk a little bit about the underground strength session from last weekend. I'll just start right from the beginning. Friday, I took off from here in St. Augustine at about 11 o'clock, got down and met up with Dave and Bob Young's about 12:30, and we went to eat lunch at a steakhouse of all places. I ate a steak, ate a sweet potato, and had a Caesar salad. As soon as I finished my last bite of steak, I realized, damn it, we're going to the Brazilian steakhouse tonight, and I'm going to eat steak till it comes out of my ears. So I made fun of myself about that for a little bit, and then we went back to the room and chilled out. I got in the room and was laying on the bed with the door open. Apparently they gave me the key to the room, but the cleaning lady was still there cleaning in the bathroom. So I quietly put my stuff away, got settled in the room, and plopped down on the bed. Turned on the TV, and there goes Sean T with Insanity. And I think that guy is so ridiculous, so I just can't stop watching him. The way he says things, the way he talks about working out and breaking a sweat and taking up your intensity and doing it like this just kills me. So I was sitting there mesmerized, and in comes Chad Walker, busting me red-handed. Me watching this, zoned out, and of course he asked me what the hell I'm doing, and we have a good laugh about it, but I always get sucked in by those stupid infomercials. Not that I want to buy the product, but because they're so ridiculous. Anyway, on a side note, if you sit on your butt and you eat, Cheetos all day, any kind of exercise you do will work for you. So do Insanity, do P90X, just do any kind of exercise. It's better than nothing. On to that night, we headed to Brazilian Texas de Brazil Steakhouse. Chad and I, we basically bowed out at the same time after many fillets and flank steak and top sirloin, and then we finished off with some cheesecake, key lime pie. Then it was time to go out and hang out, but that's for another story. Saturday morning, we had Orlando Barbell, Team Elite FTS teammates, Joe Jordan and Brian Schwab lifting. As you know, Joe Jordan had a back surgery where he had his herniated disc snipped and tucked back in last year, and he looks good. He actually squatted, I believe, a post-surgery PR of 700 or so times 2. He did it so well that he came up and it looked like he literally got the mark of the beast put in his forehead because he was spurting blood out of his forehead with no visible cut. So that was pretty cool. Way to go, Joe. Adam Jurgers took his first couple weights since 2000. It was this year. It was March, so it was a little over 4 months since he'd taken any kind of weight. He went with 4s in the squat, raw, 4s to 5 in the deadlift, and he went over 800 very easily, full gear, and went 655 in the deadlift. So he did really well considering no pain. So that's a really good sign for him. Schwab looked good. Schwab has some things going on right now where training isn't his sole focus, but he looks strong as ever. Still hitting 700 in the squat very easily. Chad asked me what I thought he should do. He's been chasing that 800 raw pull for a while, so I told him to go for that. And it's funny because his pulls leading up to that were pretty ugly, and Dave and I told him about it, so did Bob. Well, I told him, I said, man, after I saw a 705 deadlift, I said, why risk it? It means nothing in the gym. I don't think you could pull it today. And well, what that did was fire him up along with some things Dave said. Dave didn't believe he could do it either, especially with that form, with the bar getting out in front and him rowing the weight up. But leave it to Bob. Bob has a way with words, and Bob got in his ear a little bit and showed that he had some faith in him. And Chad went there and smashed it. Not quite as easy as a 705 was relatively, but if you'd have told me you'd add 100 pounds to the 705 and it would go that smoothly, I wouldn't agree with that. But it did. It went easy, and Chad got to prove me wrong. So that's one thing about some people. Some people will talk a lot about what they're going to do and show you. Chad likes getting pissed off and then proving you wrong, or going and accomplishing his goals and then letting his results speak, and I like that about him. So many people want to just talk about it, and if they ever do accomplish those goals, no one cares because you've yapped about it forever. So moving on, Saturday, they did all their cool stuff. I was relegated to doing bird dogs and rolling planks and all that stuff that's not interesting. I did pull 315 out of the rack, which was a post-injury PR. I mean, I'm not pulling heavy. Everything has to be slow and methodical, but it felt good, no back pain. We got back to the hotel after the underground. Before we got back to the hotel, we went to Chipotle and ate. That's one of my favorite places to eat. Jurgers despises it, so I made sure we went. Dave Tate had never been there before, so that was interesting. He had to ask me how it worked, and he just followed me and just ordered what I ordered. We got back to the hotel, popped in the pool for a little bit. I come out and see Dave with his sunglasses on, kind of hanging out in the deep end with a grape soda, just chilling out with both of his legs cramped, very close to the jet. So that was interesting. He was enjoying that jet for whatever reason. Hung out there for a bit. Went out to Tilted Kilt and watched the UFC fights. Had a real good time. Had some real good discussions about the future of the competitive powerlifting that we have left in us. We talked about injuries. We talked about some things that have to do with Elite FTS. Just a lot of good things. It was definitely a positive impact, and it really motivated me to get healed up and to really want to get after it. So we watched the fight. Came home. Back to the hotel about 1:30, 2 o'clock, then crashed. Next day, the guys worked on their bench. I was rolling around on the ground once again, like an animal from a theme park, as Dave said. I did my thing, helped the guys bench. We helped a few guys with their setup, doing the feet out a bit, and I'm gravitating towards that setup more, being that I have such an injured back. I see that it being a little less taxing that way, so I'm having people that I'm helping do that as well. So after bench, it was time to say our goodbyes. I want to thank Brian Schwab and Trinity Schwab for their gracious hosting last weekend. We had a good time. Thank you for opening up your gym to us, Brian. It was good seeing everybody. Bob Youngs, really appreciate all that you're doing. A lot of people don't know much about Bob, but he's a great man. That's all I have to really say about that. You can find out for yourself. Dave Tate, thank you so much for the opportunity you've given us, the platform to speak of about powerlifting, the way to promote ourselves, the way to help others, to live, learn, and pass on. Thank you so much. It was good seeing Adam Jurgers, of course. Clint Smith couldn't make it because he's waiting on his baby boy to be born any day. So that's a bummer, but that's also, in the bigger picture, lifting is only a tiny part of it, so obviously this is going to be a great time for Clint. Good to see Chad Walker. We roomed together. We had some good laughs, talked some shit, of course, and it was a fun ball busting weekend. Joe Jordan, good to see that you're back healed up and you're lifting some big weights again. And thanks very much for following my log. Send me any questions you got, and thank you so much for all the support. And look for me to be back on the platform, hitting PRs in 2014. That's a promise.